Welcome to the K&A Football Podcast. This week, we're going to be talking about the Baker Mayfield trade, why I think it's terrible and Caden thinks it's great. We're going to be discussing the ESPN Top 10 QB list, why theirs sucks and ours is great. Welcome to the first episode of the K&A Football Podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as well as Caden's mom, to the first ever episode of K&A Football. This football podcast has been many days in the making. We are very excited to bring you K&A Football, where I, Austin, and the show's co-host, Caden, will be talking about the latest NFL news, giving our hot takes, and once the season is underway, we will test fate and pick our predictions for the week's matchups. We are very excited to bring you the first ever episode of K&A Football. So, Caden, to start things off, let's talk about, I know it's a couple weeks late, but let's start it off and talk about the biggest news for our teams this offseason. The Cleveland Browns traded traded Baker Mayfield for a bag of Doritos to the Carolina Panthers. What are your thoughts on such a trade?
Okay, well, straight from the gun, I'm a huge Panthers fan, as we know, but many of our listeners may not know. I'm a huge Panthers fan, and Austin here is a huge Browns fan, as we live in Ohio. So many people around here are Browns fans. So straight off the gun, I'm going to say I hated it straight off the bat, not because I hate Baker and think Baker's bad, but because I have talked so much crap about Baker and the Browns throughout literally Baker's entire career. I hate the Browns, and I will say that proudly. Like, I hate them. Like, it's bad. And so, obviously, I'm not going to root for Baker. Since he's on the Browns, I root for him to lose. And so I've talked so much trash about him, said how much I hate him, and how much he's not a good quarterback throughout his whole career. And so once they got Watson and realized they might actually be decent and that Baker's definitely going to go traded somewhere, a lot of my friends were like, oh, Baker's going to Carolina, and I was like, that's an issue because I have talked so much crap about him, and if he goes there, I'm gonna have to eat a lot of my words. And then I'm at work one day and Baker gets traded there. I look down at my phone and I already had 5 minutes after it was done 18 text messages from some people who I didn't even know I had their phone number texting me, and I'm like, oh, this is an issue. And so I had to eat a lot of my words that day, text people back and be like, oh, you wait, we're going to be fine. I went home that night and I watched a lot of random ESPN videos on YouTube and looked at some of the stats myself and did some more thinking myself. And a week after all of it's said and done, I can say I am very happy about the trade. I know it sounds stupid after what I said maybe 5 minutes ago, but I think that Baker is a very above average quarterback. I think he took the Browns, who were 1-31 in his 2 years prior to being drafted, and in 2 years he took them to the divisional round of the playoffs and were maybe a couple of bad calls. I will say that
A
couple of bad calls away from the AFC Championship game, and they almost beat the Chiefs. So I mean, there's that. I also think coming to Carolina, Baker has his best wide receiver core that he's ever had. I don't care what anyone says. Odell and Jarvis Landry are not as good as DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, etc. And then the thing I do hear from people is the Browns' running game, how they just gave it to Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, which is fair. They do have great running backs. However, barring injury, as long as Christian McCaffrey stays healthy, which
is not going to happen.
Will happen.
He'll be injured in week 3 by the bag of Doritos coming back to slice his knee up.
Well, those first 3 weeks, when he has Christian McCaffrey and the receivers, he's going to have his best season of his career. And I can bookmark that right now. Bookmark this first episode. We'll come back to it at the end of the season. I think it'll be great. And people also bring up the argument of the offensive lines.
Your offensive line is made of Stay Puft Marshmallow Men. Like, you have the worst offensive line in football.
Last season, the Panthers had the 31st ranked offensive line, while the Browns
There's 32 teams in the NFL, and they're ranked 31st.
While the Browns had what? Second ranked?
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds like a pretty bad drop-off. However, Panthers replaced 4 of their 5 starters on the offensive line, which is kind of a big deal. Obviously I'm an optimistic Panthers fan, but I'm not the only one. ESPN, all other people, I'm not just losing my mind here. I think they'll have a top half of the league offensive line. So there's that. So between the offensive line staying around the same-ish, better receivers around the same running back, and the defense, the Panthers defense and the Browns defense, very similar. Last season, Panthers defense ranked second in the league in yardage allowed. I don't think points, but yardage allowed, which if you're giving up a lot of yards, you're obviously not doing good. And the Panthers offense last year ranked 32nd in the league out of 32 teams because Sam Darnold was their quarterback.
Let it be known that the Panthers traded away a first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth round pick to develop a QB room of Baker Mayfield, Matt Corral, and who's the third guy?
Darnold.
A bunch of nobodies. Traded away all their picks for a bunch of nobodies.
You just made me completely lose my train of thought. What was I talking about?
I'm honestly not sure you were rambling on about sweet nothings.
Oh, back to the okay. Sam Darnold throwing a lot of interceptions, right?
That's right.
Defense on the field a lot, given terrible field position. Darnold throws a pick 3 plays into the drive. The other offense is boom, like right at the 50. Defense is on the field, easily giving up points. No, the defense held him to 3 a lot of the times. This year, even if Baker can play average, which would be miles better than Darnold, who was literally the 32nd ranked quarterback out of 32 ranked quarterbacks last year. That is horrible. If he can just be average, which would be 16 tier quarterbacks better, which I think he will be better than 16, but we'll say 16 better. That puts the defense on the field less. That makes the defense better, which makes them give up less points, which makes the offense have more opportunity to score points. We win more games. Panthers make the playoffs.
Make the playoffs.
That's for later, but yes.
All right. So what do you think? Bold prediction. We're like a lot of months out at this point, but Baker has had one of the lesser notable touchdown to interception ratios over his career. What do you think his touchdown to interception ratio will be this year?
For this season?
For this season.
If he plays all games, which I think he will, I mean, what's his highest touchdowns in a season? Probably like 30-something?
I think it was 30-something.
Okay. I'll say he'll surpass his highest touchdowns by maybe 4 or 5. And he'll obviously last season he was injured. Keep that in mind. I don't care what you say. That is a bad injury to tear your whatever.
His left labrum.
It's kind of an issue. You kind of need that to throw.
I agree with that. I'm not gonna dog on that.
Yeah, so he had a 26-8 touchdown to interception ratio. That was in 2020, so that's not.
That was his best year. 2020 was his best year.
I'm saying he'll have around 35, 36 touchdowns. And then we'll say 10 to 11 interceptions.
Ooh, okay.
Which might sound like, ooh, that's still a lot of interceptions, but Darnold last year alone threw like
all of the league's interceptions.
Right there. Yeah,
Darnold's bad.
And then when he wasn't playing, Cam Newton was throwing the interceptions. So I will take anything.
It's fair enough. Now, as Caden mentioned earlier, I am a Browns fan. And I personally was really distraught about the trade when it happened because, as Caden said, Baker was the best QB that Cleveland has seen since ever. He took us out of the playoff drought, out of the wins drought, honestly. He was one of the best QBs that Cleveland has had, and he wasn't even that good. I was one of the people that Caden would talk trash to about how bad Baker was, and, that kind of sucked. I actually had a text automation go to Caden every single day, twice a day, that told him that Baker was the GOAT. And now that he's in Carolina, I've had to pretend like those words didn't happen. Because now Cleveland has, in my opinion, a top 5 QB. All right.
And also a sexual predator.
Some people say he's not going to play this year. Okay. My prediction, he gets suspended for 8 games, comes back for the last 8. I've talked about this a lot with Caden, but I think that, he's going to be suspended for 8 games. All we have to do is hold ourselves to a .500, and then he'll come in, save the day, swoop in, and we'll finish the season at 11-6, which is good enough to make the playoffs in our division because the Steelers are going to suck.
11-6 is not good enough to make the playoffs if you're the Browns.
It is good enough.
The Bengals
are going to fall off. Mark my words right now.
Okay.
Bengals are going to fall off. They will not be the team they were last year.
My opinion, which we'll see, Bengals and Ravens will both finish higher than the Browns. If the Browns finish 11-6, Bengals will win the division. Ravens wild card team. So that's one wild card gone. So the Browns have to make it one of the 2 other wild cards at 11-6. And one of those other 2 wild cards will be one of the teams from the AFC West, which is either the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, or Broncos. 2 of those teams will... No. Well, it'd have to be 3 of those teams will be better than 11-6. Is that what you said? 11-6. I can bet that right now. So if the Browns go 11-6, which I still think will not happen because I think Watson will be suspended at least 10 or 12 games.
That's like the whole year at that point. Just go the full 9 yards. Just spend it for the whole year if you're going to go 10 or 12.
Yeah.
But I think that number 1 in the division will be Ravens. They're a good team. Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. Number 2, Cleveland Browns. Number 3, Bengals. 4, Pittsburgh Steelers might go winless. They have a QB room of absolutely nobodies. Mitch Trubisky, come on.
He might be better than Roethlisberger has been for the past 4 seasons, though. So
it's true.
But yeah. I'm trying to pull up the Browns' opening schedule to see. Okay.
Well, they play the Panthers week 1.
Yeah. You said if Watson suspended 8 games, they got to go 4-4, and then you give them a chance, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. Week 1, Panthers, L.
Win.
I'm so my. Okay,
win.
We'll keep it. Whatever. So we'll say win. We'll say win for now.
We'll go win.
Week 2. Oh wait, that's the Panthers schedule. We don't want that. All right. Week 2. Jets.
There we go.
I think. Oh yeah.
Thanks, Debbie.
Week 2, Jets. They can beat the Jets. Okay, hold on. We're gonna say they're losing to the Panthers because, yeah. So
because you see their opening schedule and you see that.
Wait. Lost to the Panthers.
You see that we're fine.
Win against the Jets.
Win Jets.
Win Steelers.
Win Steelers. Win Atlanta. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's 3-1.
3-1.
Chargers, I think will be.
Chargers, we will lose to the Chargers.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Patriots as well.
Patriots. It's going to be tough, I think. Well, the thing is we'll probably lose to Baltimore, New England, and Los Angeles.
So the week 1 game's big if
week
you're really going by
1
your standards.
We can win week 1.
I really don't think that'll happen. But we'll say
the Bengals will be tough, but if my prediction holds true that the Bengals won't be as good as they were last year, we can still beat the Bengals.
Okay.
So there's our 4-4. And then after that, John Watson comes in, his Superman cape on. He takes the Browns upon his back and he rides them across the finish line. Even if we go 8-0.
Okay, I highly doubt 8-0. One, he wouldn't have played football in almost 2 seasons, which is kind of an issue. And also, you got Miami. They're okay. But Buffalo, Tampa, Cincinnati again, Baltimore again. That's pretty good. I don't think so. But
tough schedule, but I think we do it.
I don't know. We'll see. I really think also, if we're looking back at that week 1 game, Baker has the biggest chip on his shoulder for the Browns right now. And I know that I talked to him personally, and I know that he's going to be working hard and studying hard, and he's going to destroy the Browns week 1. He's going to, I'm sure there's no game he's cared more about in his life than that.
Well, that's probably true because the Browns are paying him like $500,000 to try to beat them week 1.
Exactly.
It kind of sucks.
Last season, it was the same thing. The Panthers traded for Darnold, and in week 1, Panthers played the Jets. And before the game, months before, they asked Darnold, they're like, hey, how do you have it? Does it add pressure to the week 1 game? And Darnold was like, no, I don't think about that stuff, which is bullcrap. Everyone knows that any quarterback that gets dumped by their old team, they're going to think about it. They asked Baker the same thing last week, and he responds and goes, "I'm not just going to sit here and act like, oh, it doesn't faze me. I don't see that game." And he said, "Yes, I have that one marked on my calendar. I'm excited for it. It'll be fun. Hopefully I'll be going to the game with my dad or you. One of the two. I know I'm going there somehow, but I'll be there."
When Baker gets absolutely lit up by Myles Garrett, who, by the way, was ranked or has a 99 overall ranking in Madden. When he gets absolutely lit up by Myles Garrett and is out for the rest of the year, I'm going to laugh at you when you have to start Sam Darnold again for the rest of the 16 games.
We'd start Matt Corral over Sam Darnold. That's my hope.
Matt Corral is a good one.
But I don't think Garrett would be able to get to Baker with
your Stay Puft Marshmallow Man line.
With our new offensive line.
Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
In other news, the other week, ESPN dropped their top 10 QBs list. Debbie, if we could pull that up, please. So there was some controversy because Lamar Jackson did not make it onto the list. I mean, fair enough. Running backs don't belong on the QB list.
He didn't play last season. There's that.
Well, he played for most of the season.
Yeah.
He got hurt in the Browns game. I remember that game.
Yeah.
I was in Florida. Great. We won. I think. Let's see if we can pull up top 10 QB. Come on, Debbie. We believe in you.
Debbie doesn't have ESPN Plus.
Is there just like a list? Where do I find just like a list?
I don't know.
I don't know, Debbie. You're the tech.
List.
You're the tech girl. Tech person. Come on, Debbie.
Do you have ESPN Plus?
I don't have it. Oh, actually, I do, but I don't have it on my.
Well, no, I was saying because that's how you saw it.
I heard about it. I listen to other shows.
Well, hey, he studies for this one. Well, while Debbie pulls that up,
Well, Debbie pulls that up. Why don't you drop your top 10?
My top 10 QBs?
Your top 10 QBs. We'll see how it marks up against ESPN's top 10 QBs.
In my opinion, for this upcoming season?
For this upcoming season.
Wait.
Here we go.
Okay. We got ESPN's. Oh, I already see stuff that I think is stupid.
All right, number 1, Aaron Rodgers. 2, Patrick Mahomes. 3, Josh Allen. 4, Brady. 5, Burrow. 6.
You're going very fast.
Sorry, Stafford. 7, we got Herbert. 8, Russell Wilson. 9, your boy Deshaun Watson. And 10, Dak Prescott.
Okay.
So, Caden, what is your top 10, and what do you disagree with the ESPN's list?
I will say right now, Deshaun Watson at 9. People will say I'm just saying this because he's on the Browns now, but he should not be on the top 10 list if he hasn't played football in a year and a half. And last time he played, he might have put up stats, but what's the most important thing?
He is the most athletic quarterback on that list.
I do not care. If you're playing quarterback, if you're playing football, no one cares what your stats are. People care if you're winning games. And if you're a top 10 quarterback, you can win games. Last time that he played football, before he went to get massages, he led the Texans to a 4-12 record. If you're a top 10 quarterback,
it was the Texans.
If you are a top 10 quarterback, you're going to be able to win.
The Texans had one good year of all time.
If you are a top 10 quarterback, you can lead your team to more than 4 wins. Baker Mayfield, when he went to the Browns, they were 1-31 in the last 2 seasons, and boom, 2 years later, they're in the playoffs. Deshaun Watson just went 4-12, and then all of a sudden, went and got massages. Bad things happened. Now he's in some legal trouble.
The Texans traded away all of their weapons for a bunch of Pokemon cards. The Browns at least tried. Like, they gave Baker weapons. They gave him the best backfield in football. They gave him the best O-line in football. They gave him one of the best defenses ever assembled. And the Texans...
The Browns?
Yeah. And the Texans were like, oh, man, I need a Charmander. And so they were going to go and trade Pokemon cards for all their players.
How many Pokemon things are you going to bring up today? We'll see. Okay, let's see. Anything else on this list? I think Herbert should be higher. I think Herbert is going to... If I had to pick a MVP who I think will be, that's not like a Aaron Rodgers who wins it every year, or Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady... Mine without a bet. Wow. I just stuttered. Without a doubt, be Justin Herbert. I think that the Chargers this year, they're my Super Bowl pick for the whole season.
Chargers are your Super Bowl pick, not even the Panthers?
That would be for a way later in the year, but I think Herbert should be way higher up. I mean, 7 is pretty high, but I think Herbert's going to really surprise people this year.
I like ESPN's top 4. Their top 4 is solid. I don't think they have enough spaces above in order to fill what Aaron Rodgers has done. I think Aaron Rodgers is like...
You think he's one?
I think Aaron Rodgers is more than one.
Huh.
Aaron,
Really?
they don't have enough. There's Aaron Rodgers, 4 spaces, and then everyone else.
Okay, well, we'll see. Because I was going to say I think Mahomes or Josh Allen should be one. But we won't know about Rodgers or Mahomes because Rodgers lost Devontae Adams. Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill. So after
Rodgers hasn't had Adams his whole career, and he still performed well. Patrick Mahomes has had Hill forever. I don't think Patrick Mahomes will be the same QB without Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill covered up a lot for Patrick Mahomes, where it's just scramble around and launch it. But I still think he's a great QB and makes plays. So I like their top 4. After that, I would put Deshaun Watson at 5. That's not because I'm a Browns fan, okay? That's because he is the most athletic QB.
Lamar Jackson's athletic. He's
the most athletic QB on this list. So 5, Watson. 6, I would put Lamar Jackson up here because respect. I don't like him. He's in my division, but respect is due. So number 6, Lamar Jackson. 7, I like Herbert. 8, Russell Wilson. 9, Dak Prescott.
No, what? That's crazy to me. I don't think Dak should be anywhere near the top 10 list. I think that he has the best receivers in the league, the best receiving core in the league. He had Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. He had a good tight end in Schultz. He had an amazing line. He's on the Cowboys. He's got Zeke and Pollard. He has a great defense. I think he should be. If he was a top 10 quarterback with that team, he would be top 5. I think he's with the average. If he's on, we'll say, if he's on the Bills, he's 17, 18. But we'll see.
I liked Dak Prescott's rookie year. What was that? 2016.
That was also 7 years ago.
It was 7 years ago, but that was his first year in the NFL, and he didn't have a lot. They just had the O-line and Zeke. Go Bucks. So that was all they had, and they put together a miracle season. Went really far in the playoffs. I liked him that year.
Yeah.
I like Dak Prescott. I think he's better than you give him credit for. And I'd put Matt Stafford at 10.
Yeah. I think Matt Stafford's good. He won the Super Bowl, but I don't think he's all I don't know. I just don't. Whatever. He was on the Lions for so long that I just don't see him as a good quarterback. But I mean, obviously he is. He just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but he also had a super team assembled for him. So
yeah, that's fair as well.
that.
I think if I were to make a list, Josh Allen would probably be one for me. I mean, he has Diggs, but that's really it.
Yeah, it's true.
And he can run.
I saw Josh Allen last year as kind of a rookie year Carson Wentz, except better in every aspect. Carson Wentz's rookie year was an absolute beast. That's kind of how I saw him last year. Mm-hmm. But we'll see how he does this year. The coin flip will probably put him over the edge.
We'll see. I think Burrow will be better too. I know you don't like that because he's in your division and you always say, "Oh, they're not going to be good. They're not going to be the same because they lost the Super Bowl." But they turned it on at the end of the year, and I'm assuming that carries over to this year. And assuming it does, they upgraded the offensive line, they upgraded the defense. The receivers are already amazing. Mixon's good, and I think Burrow will get better. I think that the Bengals will run away with that division. I think Burrow will be top 3. I think it'll be Allen, Mahomes, or Rodgers, whichever one does better out of the two, and then Burrow at 3, and then the other Mahomes or Rodgers, whichever one that isn't number 2 will be 4. That's my list. And then Brady 5, because eventually it's going to get worse. Hopefully.
He's got to get worse, right? He's got to run out of the alien magic juice eventually. I know that you don't like Brady because he's in your division now and proceeds to destroy your team every time you meet. But, how much do you think he's got left in him? Do you think he wins another Super Bowl before he's done?
No. I think whatever they play the Panthers this year, Brian Burns swims off the end, tears his ACL. No, not Brian Burns. Tom Brady tears his ACL.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Brady's out for a career.
For a career. Well, I mean, Once he gets hurt, he's done for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rest of his
I know.
life.
Honestly, I don't. Obviously, I'm not wishing injury on anyone. As much as I say that all the time, jokingly, I don't actually do that. That's mean. But I think Tom Brady will have. He's still. I mean, he'll be good until he retires. He's never gonna like just fall off. So I think once he wants to retire, like this year, and then he goes home and realizes, oh crap, I don't want to be with my family, and then goes back to football. Eventually, hopefully soon. I think this year or last year has to be his last season. Because if you're
45.
that's stupid. He's literally the age of my dad. I'm not calling my dad old, but you can't really be playing football 45 years old.
He's doing it. He's eating his all green diet plus alien juice. So we'll see how far he can go.
His wheeze.
See how far he can go. Well, we're out of time for today. Hope you enjoyed episode 1 of K&A Football. Hopefully it'll pick up a little more once the season starts and we can take our picks for the week and everything.
It will.
Yeah, we're excited that episode 1. You tuned in for episode 1, and we're excited to see you guys next time.
Peace.